If you're broke, watch this because look, I'm going to switch this video up a bit. I know what it's like to be at rock bottom with nowhere, turn to, and no helping hand within reach. You got all these so called friends, but where are they when you truly need them? You've spent probably over a decade covering up a lifestyle of shame and struggle, carrying yourself with credit cards and loans, trying to put on an image as if you got it all together until you don't. But hell, here we are, broken, and no direction to turn to. So, what if I was to say, it doesn't got to be this way? You no longer got to struggle in debt and dealing with bill collectors calling you at all hours of the day and night because life isn't meant to be miserable like this. You're supposed to live with positive vibes and energy, but if you don't know where to start, then what do you truly do to make this position turn around for the better? I'll tell you exactly what it is you do. But first, are you ready to make that promise to yourself that it's possible to change? Because I'm going to be honest, I've always heard and been told you cannot help someone who doesn't want to help themselves. But if you hang in there with me in this video, then I'll show you the secret that nobody wants you to know for how to turn your lifestyle around and grow your financial income to higher ranking levels than you ever thought was possible. Do believe this goal is achievable starting today, right? This minute, right? Because we've been told our entire life that the early bird gets the worm. And I'm sure your mom or dad had always preached to you about how you become who you run with. Well, then that couldn't be further than the truth. But this doesn't just apply with keeping you out of trouble. It also applies to your financial standings as well. So I tell you this, because you wouldn't want your kids running with druggies or always in debt with a negative mindset. If you want to build wealth, then what do I recommend? Well, first things first, I'd say hang around people you admire. Because it's a proven fact that you become what you surround yourself with. Want to be broke all the time, hang out with broke. People want to build wealth. Well, hang out with the wealthy, learn what they do, how they operate on a daily. And then what? Well, you guessed it, you take and copy their behaviors. Because you wanted to hear all the secret sauces about becoming financially free. Well, here's number one, first and foremost. What if I told you becoming wealthy is 80% behavior and 20% head knowledge? Would you believe it? Because the majority of tips for becoming financially free consist of growing and building healthy, positive habits and carrying yourself in a positive manner, not just operating on emotions, but instead moving with precision and direction for which you have planned instead of just showing up. After all, you can't just create a budget and save money and one day become wealthy because, sorry, but it doesn't work like that. However, the majority of this is actually a lot easier than it may seem like. What's the first thing I would recommend you doing? Would be prepping your mind frame. Because without a positive mindset and clear head on your shoulders, you won't ever achieve any of these goals, for which I'm going to discuss in this video, like getting out of debt, building a habit of being consistent with everything you do, whether it's automating your savings to build the emergency fund or setting up investment accounts and having them set up for automation. Because you won't miss money you never seen in, or will you disrupt the consistent behavior when it's set up to automatically come out your paycheck? I'm sure you're familiar with the terminology of the debt snowball or avalanche method for getting out of debt. No matter which route you choose, the objective is to stick with it. So what do I recommend? I would say the debt snowball. And reason being for choosing that is because it helps you to get a couple wins under your belt. The quickest by applying this method, which builds and grows your confidence to higher levels. And what's this do in return? It convinces the mind that it works and is possible. So it definitely helps eliminate self-doubt and confidence. Two, I recommend you start planning your finances with structure because without any type of organization being used, it will be impossible to build wealth and grow your income. The wealthy didn't become that way by just living, every day handling their money in their mind. Instead, they monitored every account and every dollar. So what I mean by that is they knew where every dollar was going before it ever arrived. Meaning some money was set up for automatic deposit into investment accounts, some into their 401k, some into a Roth IRA, then some into an emergency fund. Money was set up to go into a high yield savings. Like I say, it becomes so much easier when everything is automated, and wealth becomes so easily accomplished by having structure. But when you don't have a plan and you're just randomly trying to save and not watching your spending, well, you guessed it, because it becomes impossible to grow your wealth. Three, do you give money towards any donations or tithing to a church or helping towards a medical research? Do you offer positive energy or thoughts or actions to people who are in need? Because it's also a known statistic that if you do good towards others, good things come back around. How many of you are familiar with the golden rule? Do unto others as you would want others to do unto you. Now let's really drop the tips. Did you know that the wealthy don't handle their money by operating off emotions, nor do they study or worry what other people think of them? They don't care if they are recognized for having designer clothes or newest pair of Jordans. Instead, what they care about is operating from systems that are proven to work time and time again. While the poor constantly play the victim card, or not fair, can't catch a break, and are constantly buying things for which are above their pay wage. The wealthy are busy buying assets. And not only that, but however, the wealthy don't just rely on one source of income either, but instead are focused on building as many jobs or income streams or products that will continue to pay them not just once, but continuously. How many of you all have had an idea of a way to start up a business or side hustle, but never went through with it because you were worried what your friends or family might think or would have to say about it, or what if it failed and didn't work out? Well, guess what? That's just it. That's the thing. The wealthy don't worry or contemplate on stuff like that. Instead, they just act no, guessing no. Worries just actions. Because that's another tip I recommend you practice is how you talk and think and compare your thoughts to yourself. What I mean by that is you need to build a strong habit of speaking to yourself in a positive manner. No second guessing, no worries. Not can I do this, but I will make this work. Not what if I fail. Remove that word from your vocabulary because it's irrelevant. Instead, if it doesn't work out properly, it's only a learning opportunity for growth. And here you have it, all the sauce poured out at once. Speak positive, not just to others, but to yourself as well. Practice building positive actions like helping others remain. Discipline. Keep a positive mindset. Create as many income streams as possible. The more the merrier. Buy assets instead of liabilities. Other people's thoughts don't matter, instead of you handling your finances. Automate. Last and foremost, positive energy creates positive results. And if you found this video helpful, I recommend you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And also, if you're ready to get serious about your financial freedom and go on to building a legacy, I suggest you check out some of these free or low-cost systems that I created and used myself to help get me out of debt and headed down the road on the proper path to success. And if are interested in gaining more knowledge and tips, check out this playlist for beginners and get started growing our wealth today. Because Legacy 2 address, I'm out. And remember, I love you all, and you got this